Did I leave the microphone wide open? I did, didn't I? I
So
left
you
my
wanna-
microphone wide open.
Hey, welcome back, man.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, so you left the microphone. You left the microphone. Is that why we could hear?
Well, I may or may not have. Jeez, making fun of me, sir. What's wrong with you? I would never. Never.
No, we were just talking about how I'm kind of glad that I did kind of pluck up the courage just to reach out, just a sheer chance, and just thinking, what's the worst they could say was no.
Right?
But,
That's
yep,
exactly it.
but yeah. The funny thing is, though, Stacey, is Lord said he was going to buy it. He's now currently playing it.
Nice! Lord, I'm so glad you're enjoying it, man.
Which is very,
Very
very
nice.
cool.
I would like to point out for those who are, I don't know how familiar, like how far up north you guys are, but it's currently 9 o'clock in Sweden, and Kevin is sitting outside, and you
I'm
can
sitting
see how
outside.
bright it is.
Yeah, I can just show you.
Jeez Louise, I wish it was that bright up here when it got 9 o'clock at night.
Yes. Stacy's northern Minnesota, which is basically what most people in America will call Canada Light.
Yeah, I'm more or less
Soda.
candlelight.
So occasionally what you might hear is, occasionally you'll hear him slip into slight Canadian mannerisms and words.
Me?
Yeah, I heard you say A before. I
Yep.
was thinking, is he Canadian?
Yeah, no,
He's
he's
Canadian
from
all of a sudden.
Minnesota. It's kind of it's just before the border, I believe.
Yeah, we're I'm about a hour and a half, 2 hours away from the border.
It's serious, like he's Canadian dry. No, that's a root beer.
Oh, get up
Me
there,
and
get
Leo
up.
actually have one friend up in Minnesota.
Oh, really?
And he was involved in marketing the game when we were working on it.
That's actually very cool.
Yeah, what
I mean,
part
yeah,
of
Jordan.
Minnesota?
Oh, yeah, we have no idea. I guess Minnesota is kind of big, right?
It's not the biggest state, but it's big. Yeah, it's not like I
big,
said. It's
yeah.
not the biggest thing on planet, but it. Oh no!
Oh, it's just funny thing is I have Stacy's stream open, so I can see him kind of falling off the ravine and into the river. And I'm like, this is funny.
You shush your mouth, young man.
Oh, Stace, the camera's out again, my dude.
Oh, sounds great.
I wonder...
You need to keep Discord open, but don't minimize it. You have to keep it open in the background, full screen, otherwise it won't capture properly.
On my end.
It's interesting that it's only my camera that gets disabled and not Leo's.
What basically happens with Discord is if you minimize. So when Stacy minimized it last, it captures like a thumbnail, and obviously your camera crashed. Well, I say crashed, you closed it, and it captures that instant. So what I found out the hard way after playing. I think we were playing D&D for like 2 hours. Why is no one's lips moving? Yeah, you have to keep Discord open full screen in the background, otherwise it doesn't capture properly.
I had that the other day, but my coworker was just sitting very, very still.
Oh, that's cool.
No, that wasn't on purpose at all.
No. The mechanic has figured out. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Wow. Let's give it to. All right. Good job, Stacy. Ill time.
But I mean, obviously, when it comes with the publisher and everything, when you just talked about your friend being from Minnesota and the marketing and everything. I mean, did you just release the game? I mean, with trailers and stuff. I mean, how did you actually announce it? Because I remember finding it through the Microsoft Marketplace. It had like a little thing saying it would come up when you flick through the marketplace, it comes up saying this game's been released today. That's how I found out about it.
Wow. Well, we announced the game at GDC 2016. I remember I think it was March or April. I don't. Oh, sorry if you hear like birds.
All right, it's fine. There's seagulls. It's fine.
Believe me, I don't mind.
wow.
That's like our city bird, basically. Our national.
It's so
There's state birds, national birds. Ours is just the seagull, so we don't mind. Trust me.
It's fine.
I
'cause
thought they would be quiet at this time.
Oh, you're
but they
lucky
still had
because
it.
across the road from me is a dairy and dairy farm that makes their own ice cream and everything. So occasionally, if everything's quiet, all you can hear is. And in the dead of night, that is the most frightening thing you'll ever hear.
No?
Real quick,
That's
sir.
exactly what those pesky natives
How many times have you gone cow tipping?
Look where they are now.
Never.
Really?
I wouldn't do it. They make ice cream over there, Stacy. Why would I want to injure? Like, they make good ice cream.
Well, it's not going to injure them. You just walk up their sleep and give them a little push. You laugh at them as they fall. You're in a way. They'll still make the ice cream. It's just the cow's going to go, what the hell? I'm on the ground. That's all.
No offense, if I did that to a cow and they started talking, I think I'd run. Anyway, yeah, but I mean, like I said, GD. Why does GDC remote? Oh God, why does that ring a bell?
It's Game Developers Conference. Like
Oh
international game
shoot!
developers
Yeah,
conference.
yeah.
So it was the publisher that traveled to Game Developers Conference. I don't know where it was held. Do you remember, Leo, where Game
Somewhere
GDC
like San Francisco, LA, somewhere. I don't know.
somewhere in the States.
Crap, almost made it.
So they traveled there. They had a bunch of titles that they were going to.
So we gotta find 2 more.
Or
of
was
these.
it a bunch of? At least they were going to market at least 2 titles. It was our game and it was a game called Solus, the Solus Project.
Oh, wait a second. SOLUS.
Yes, SO. Oh, SO. I can. Yeah, I can.
I know
write
which
it
one.
down.
Yeah, the soul. It's not pronounced. It's not spelled soul as in SOUL. It's spelled SUOL. It's spelled weird, but I know which one you're on about. Yeah, that's that. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Just
it was.
Got a boy.
So the Solus Project was actually a game created by our original mentor that started he started the education that we went on. He's
Yeah.
called Shord De Jong. He works at Epic Games. He's like an evangelist for the Unreal Engine, the engine that we used when we created the game.
No kidding, huh?
Yeah. So and he released the game too, almost like it was. I think he finished off the game like a year earlier than we did, or something. I think, or maybe a half a year earlier. Yeah. So the publisher had this written a contract with had a deal with him, and that's how we got in contact with this publisher, this said publisher, and so they went to GDC and announced the game. They actually created the trailers. We provided them the content from the in-game content and also the music. They decided to use another music track for some of the trailers because they wanted to have they had their own ideas on how they wanted the trailers to sound like. But yeah.
Oh, is that why the trailer sounded off to me then? If that makes sense. I watched the trailers and then I played the game, and the music in the trailers didn't sync up with how the game felt.
It's
So
interesting that you say that. Yeah,
Uh,
they were looking for some. I sent them a bunch of music tracks and they said that this is not intense enough, or I don't know, there was something missing they felt, and I just told them, okay, then just buy a track and use that instead, because I don't know what to do anymore.
I mean, Kevin, if you actually, this is the thing. We were talking about the sound and everything, Kevin, and Ziploc said he says, I like how the boing sound is layered with a lower pitch boing. Doing it kind of gives it more of an organic feel, which is nice. Now, I need to ask Leo something. What exactly is it like to work with the Unreal Engine? I mean, I see it used in pretty much everything, and they say that every game runs on the Unreal Engine, is it as user friendly as I think it is, or hope it is?
I would say that Unreal is it's a great engine. It's a really, really good engine. At my current studio, or the studio I work at currently, we're using Unity, So myself, I have like experience with both, and I think both of them are really good at whatever you're trying to get done. You can find the right engine for the job, and for this particular game, Unreal Engine worked really well because we didn't have to worry that much about optimizing the game. It looks great from out of the box. So we had a great starting point, and then we just built from there. And the fact that the game is sort of built around having a character that you walk around with, because that's like all the code stuff references that part pretty much. But I think you could just as well ask Kevin the same question, because he was working in the engine almost as much as I was, because he implemented all of the sounds into the game, and like the voiceovers and everything.
See, from my standpoint, whenever someone says game engine, I mean, this shows you how lit I am of the game. I mean, I'm an avid game player, and I never actually realised that. I mean, I didn't actually doesn't dawn to me until now when someone goes game engine. I was like, I thought that it was just it sounds imported another one. I'm like, no, you don't. That can't be like that. So okay. So how I mean, was Unreal for you then from a music standpoint? Was it just a case of after 3 hours you could instantly put this stuff straight in then?
Yeah, I would say the built-in audio engine in the built-in audio system within the engine is kind of lacking.
Really?
So I used a thing called a middleware for the music and the audio. So a middleware is kind of a plugin for the engine. So yeah, we used something called FMod Studio and the FMod plugin, and that allowed me to create adaptive music very easily. It was very easy to just put some parameters there, like when something happens, maybe a certain track comes in, fades in, or another track fades out, or you jump into this part of the song, etc. So I put a lot of adaptive stuff in there just to further create this.
There you are.
This natural dynamic in the music and make it like blend good with the gameplay, so to speak. I didn't go like 100% adaptive, but I went like subtly. It was subtle. So sometimes you don't even notice that it is adaptive on some parts. But if I show you like the tech behind it, you'll see that, oh, okay, so it actually adapts to where you are, etc. That's interesting. So it creates kind of a curve, like dramaturgic curve with the music along with the gameplay. Because I had this idea that I wanted to try that out.
Oh, I do like, because I noticed that as soon as you got into certain positions of the game, it would kind of ramp up into a specific sort of music and song and sounds, and I love that. I mean, everyone knows that whenever you play a game, you could be. I mean, if you can go back all the way back to the original Nintendo consoles, when the music changes, and you're like, oh, boss time. Intense moment, and I love that. I mean, I love dynamic music. Because it's one of those things where you kind of, like I keep saying, it kind of draws you further into the feeling and the surrounding of the game and everything. And you're like, oh, something's going to happen, and then you get that miniature, like, small excitement of everything build up. It's like, oh, what's next? What's next?
Yeah,
I mean, it's not as. I mean, I prefer a musical change, knowing that a boss is coming, than what some games normally do, where they throw like a new weapon, and then half a ton of ammunition at you. Like, oh, damn it!
Not like this.
I agree with Ziploc Bob. He says Unreal isn't so much user-friendly as much as robust. I agree with that totally. The thing with Unreal Engine is that the learning curve is incredibly huge compared to Unity, for instance. It's very easy to learn, because when you start Unity, when you start a project from scratch, you have it's very like clean slate. You can start writing, use C# code, as it's called, and build up the game as you'd like. But with in the case with working with Unreal Engine, when you start a project from scratch, you have a lot of stuff that you already have in the game that you need to learn about, and you need to learn how to use it well in order to set up the game. So it was very hard for me. I remember learning Unreal Engine basically by reverse engineering, or like reading the code that Leo had written for this game, and like trying to learn what it means and how that's. I tried to always. I was looking for all the spots where I supposed to, what I was supposed to put in the sound code. Like, okay, so whenever this thing happens, trigger this sound. I was trying to find that by my own. And in the beginning, I had to ask a lot of questions to Leo, like, okay, Leo, how do I do this and that, etc. And now show me, oh, that's easy, you can do this and that, blah, blah, blah. So it's possible to learn.
In the past.
Yeah, I had programming. Yeah, I had. I studied C++, object-oriented programming in high school. I went to natural science and the IT program. So I learned programming. It was very rudimentary, like very basic. I had a very basic knowledge of programming, but I knew everything, like about what's a variable, what's a data type, what are functions, what are classes, etc. So that I brought with me before working with Unreal Engine. So it was much easier for me to start working. If you're a complete newbie when it comes to like if you don't know anything about programming, it is going to be very very difficult and take a lot of time. But still, like if you put in the effort and the hours that you need to, it is possible for you to learn by yourself. You don't need to have a teacher or go to a certain school. It's I mean all the information is at your fingertips on the internet.
That's what I've heard from a lot of people, actually. Go ahead, Dark. I'm sorry, buddy.
Leo, go for it, my dude.
Oh, that was Leo. I'm sorry, bud.
I think that was very well put. I mean, the big benefit with the games education that both me and
Okay.
was that we just had time to work in the engine and make games.
Spot on. I so agree with you.
Yeah, so it wasn't. It was more just being there in that environment and making games that, and then googling and watching tutorials and reading the documentation that is freely available online. That's how we learn to make games, and that's our first source to game development.
No, bombs. Go away, bombs. No. No.
I'm looking at the stream, I'm just looking at it now. I'm sitting there thinking, this is like watching DVD commentary, but Stacey's actually doing it live and she's nearly dying repeatedly.
That's really
Now,
good.
Stacey, you're about an hour and a half in so far,
Yes.
and people have asked repeatedly in chat what you think. So
I was gonna stay quiet for a little bit at first until I got my full opinion. I fucking love this, man. This reminds me of games I played growing up. It's so much fucking nostalgia. And it's not taking anything away from the game as the individuality of words is hard. Individually, fuck it, I'm done. It doesn't take any of that away from it, but it's so fucking fun. I'm
you
sorry.
see what I mean?
It's amazing for us to hear.
Yeah, you can see why me and Stacey get on so well now. I have difficulty with speaking sometimes, and so does he.
Yeah. It's
I mean,
just
this
so much fun, man.
Yeah, I mean, seeing your facial expressions when you find things and you figure stuff out is quite impressive because your face is very emotive, and it's just like I'm sitting there going, "Oh, you like this bit? Let's have a look." And he's getting just as excited as I was, and then just as frustrated because you kind of keep doing a puzzle over and over again, and you're like, "No," and then you're like, "Yes, ha ha ha."
You can't help but celebrate just a tiny bit. You're like, that's right, game. Yeah.
And then 30 seconds later, you make a miss jump and it chucks you all the way back. And you're like, oh, again.
And plus, this really makes me happy because it's just so much just random exploring. I'm like, I wonder if I can get there. Let's go. And it seems like so far, if you can see it, you can go there, is what it feels like. And I like that.
Yeah.
I love a
Yeah.
game
Yeah,
where you get to
we-
explore.
Yeah, it's we try to
No!
we try to avoid to use too much invisible walls and such.
And, you know, invisible walls, from a gamer's point of view, it's necessary, but they're really frustrating. Because you're going on a great adventure. You're going to go see this place. All of a sudden, there's just a big old invisible thing going, sorry, too bad. You know, like, some games can do it right where they just put something like, oh, it's a big mountain. You can't go past that mountain. That's not so bad, but the proper invisible walls are so frustrating at times.
Yeah.
I mean, I have images. Do you remember playing Super Mario 64 and you'd fall off the edge of the map and the invisible walls, you'd just go, ah, bomb, slide down.
Oh, the...
Yeah, I mean, and it's also a cheap way to avoid players to stop exploring places where they shouldn't. There are other ways to implement invisible walls better. I mean, the easiest way is just having an invisible wall, but there are other ways that is a bit more subtle. For instance, if you have an island and you can't swim, that's a good way to just implement an invisible wall. Just make it an island, for instance, or maybe try to fit to make the characters like something tie the thing in with the character. Maybe the character doesn't want to go there and tells you like, I don't want to go there. There's nothing interesting over there. That's like much more. It's not as
Immersive.
yeah, it's
Is that
more
the word?
immersive. Yeah, it's more immersive to have it that way rather than just putting an invisible wall and call it a day.
Ow.
Yeah. I think,
Yeah.
like making stuff dark. Like, oh, I can't see anything here.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the dark cave in Pokemon. That's just another way of doing invisible walls.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where all of a sudden you kind of running along and all of a sudden you dump, and you're like, what? And it kind of pulls you out of what you're doing and it kind of destroys the game for the next minute or so, where you kind of have to re-immerse yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you were actually making this thing, this thing, because my mind is going all over the place. When you
Don't
were making,
worry, it's a long title anyways. When we were making Skyrim Plus Adventure on Clover Island, brought to you by Right Nice Games on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC.
I mean, this is what I. This is the thing. I want. This is when you were designing everything and coming. Why Skylar? Why Plux? Why the anthrop? Oh my God, Stacy, it's catching.
Anthropomorphic.
The anthropomorphic characters.
Okay, so it's not just us. I'm great. Okay, I'm happy.
Yeah, why go in this direction? I mean, why did you intend to make? Was it an idea at the beginning to make a family-friendly game, or was it kind of something that you kind of went, well, we can't make an overly gory one? Did you want to make the family-friendly one so you could make it more self-aware and then kind of hide some of the jokes that some of the adults would get, that type of thing?
My philosophy is always like, or like anyone can play games. So if you can make something that is like inclusive, why not try to do that? If that's allowed by like the game and like if the boundaries of the game is in there, then try to make it as inclusive as possible.
Yeah, and sometimes the games
Oh,
become
no.
like, ironically, games can tend to become a bit more mature if they are not M-rated. Like, there's something with games and like M-rated games that like we celebrate these adult games that has like, you know, chainsaws and crazy, I don't know, jiggle physics on boobs and I don't know. But making an elegant game for an elegant family game is something I would say is it's an interesting challenge, and it's something that can be regarded as like, it's something that I want to make. It's not I didn't feel that we intentionally made a game for kids specifically.
Yeah.
Right, Leo? We didn't think. We just wanted to make a game that had a colorful and nostalgic style going for it, And yeah, try to make a game as fun as possible for any age that would like to play a kind of adventurous platformer.
I have
See,
problems,
I'm a big
guys.
fan of Nintendo games, so I think Nintendo games does this really well, where it's just they just try to be inclusive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, when I hear two game developers like you turn around and talk about inclusivity, because obviously having a disabled son and my shoulder issue and everything else, it means it kind of hearing the game, game devs themselves speak about inclusivity means that the future of accessibility in video games has got a good future ahead of it, because if you guys are sitting there planning on making, you already have the idea of wanting to include everybody, means that as you go forward, you'll sit there and go, well, we want to include the disabled community as well, so we'll put in fully remapped control, that type of thing. Going full on with being able to remap your controllers, colorblind modes, subtitles, backgrounds on the subtitles, stuff like that. And it's nice to hear, people who are going to be making future games say this to my face, to my non-existent face.
Yeah, you're not.
Oh Jesus! Hey,
it's
Dark.
nice.
You
Yes.
can light yourself on fire, bud. In case you're wondering, the fire it does hurt.
So, sorry, I didn't mean to shame jiggle physics.
No, no. Believe me, we're not shaming jiggles.
We're not shaming jiggle physics. I'm just saying that it could be as or a bit more adolescent than making a family game.
Ignores it, Bob. He's a massive perv.
And it seems like Lord Hell Dana hard crashed the game. What did you do to hard crash the game? I'm just curious.
How have you done this and I haven't yet? Usually I
Lord,
break
you've had it for 20 minutes. You've broken it. What the hell? I've played it for hours, and I have yet to break it.
Yeah.
am I doing
Does
here?
fire hurt? Does gravity hurt? And does water hurt? Yeah.
Can't-
Yeah. Gravity doesn't hurt, right?
No, gravity doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Except if you fall through kill planes.
Yeah. If you fall from a very high place, it just respawns you. Like
Yeah.
if you would jump where you are now, like you would.
Yeah. Because
We
otherwise
know-
you would get to the bottom of the level and you'd have to go all the way up again. So
Yeah.
And
So-
we know water hurts because Stacey's done it repeatedly.
No, I never.
And fire hurts sometimes, right?
yes.
But not always.
Wouldn't you like to know?
I love
That's
my
good,
first
that's
thing I
our
do
bad.
is like, oh look, a fireplace. Let's go jump on top of the campfire, see what happens. Why was that the first thought I had in this game? Seriously.
Because you play WoW a lot, and unfortunately you're sitting there going, I wonder if the fire burns, and that's what he does in WoW as well.
No. Ooh, what's that?
Look, Lord Haldana, he or she squeezed
Him
in between
himself.
the fence
Yeah.
himself. Is it a he? I don't know. Dana.
Yeah,
Dana
he is.
sound- Okay.
No, Lord Haldana.
Yeah. All right. Sorry about that.
Don't worry about it.
Confused about gender.
No, Swatter, no,
don't worry about it,
you
it's
stupid.
So between a fence and the rock, you wiggle around in the corner. Audio freaks out and then poof. Audio freaks out. Sounds freaky, man. Maybe you shouldn't squeeze yourself in between places.
Blame the player.
That's it, yeah. Good Lord.
I love it. Not like, wow, I wonder if we should fix that and patch it. Like, just don't do that. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing, but we've been wanting to update the game, but we haven't been able to because the publisher is kind of hard to contact.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like you have to go through them all the time when it comes up. We haven't updated the game because it's just too complex to deal with that. I've been trying to send them emails and they answer whenever they like, and yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard.
Jesus.
Yeah, they put so much. I mean, we all put a lot of energy into the game. We had kind of high expectations.
There it is.
When it came to sales, etc. Nobody knew how much we would sell. We were hoping to sell 100,000 copies or more.
Yeah.
We ended up selling 36,000 copies, which isn't bad. I mean, it's not like it's no shame in selling 36,000 copies. It's just that it wasn't financially viable. So what happened was that the publisher they took the decision of just basically just shutting us down, shutting the game down when it comes to updating it. And there shouldn't be. I mean, we understand that perfectly because they put their energy into it, etc. And as soon as it's not financially viable to be working, and since they're running a business, they can't just help out whenever we feel like it. So we understand that, but at the same time, you know, it would have been nice if we were. Yeah, I think the game would have sold better if we were to continue updating the game, fixing the bugs, both on PC and for consoles. I'm just putting that out for everyone. I don't mean to shame the publisher. I'm just trying to put a bit of pressure on them if they're here.
Hell, I'll gladly shame them for you and pressure them for you just so I can get this game more successful. I fucking love this game, dude.
Thanks, man.
Well,
Appreciate it. We
look,
appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, Lord sent Stacy a screenshot of where he did it, so if need be, we can always send you the screenshot, and then you could just tweet it out. Whatever you do, don't go here and do this. It will.
Yeah. Don't
Don't
send
wiggle between the fence
don't
and a rock.
email the publisher. No, don't email the publisher. I just want to be, you know, I'm just trying to be honest here, you know, having like a personal vibe here, and I'm just, you know, letting you know about the ins and outs of creating a game. That
It's
it's
nice
hard
because
sometimes.
I mean, a lot of us don't know the ins and outs of. I mean, a lot of us. This is what it just is nice about having this conversation is learning the ins and outs of it. A lot of this is going to sound really weird, but I find that a lot of gamers find themselves entitled to something as it when it comes out, and they don't know the inner workings of it and don't realize the cost and the work and the effort that everyone goes through, and they don't have the opportunity. I mean, the guys in Stacey's chat, I mean, they're his community and they're kind of exactly the same, but you know, they're able to talk to you. You've been able to make fun of one of them, which I think is rather hilarious, and you've been able to tell them your personal experiences, which will hopefully, you know, kind of lessen the sense of entitlement. I mean, when I say entitlement, I'm talking about people who play cards and Fortnite, and they feel like they're entitled to the devs. That when they demand things from the devs, they have to listen straight away. But they don't realise that, you know, that there's effort behind it. There's humans behind it, living humans, who two of them in front of you have just turned around and said that they burnt themselves out.
Yeah, it was
Themselves out.
or very near burned ourselves out. I mean,
Let's go
we're
talk
still
to the
making
elder.
games. We're still having
Yeah.
fun. Like we have recovered from this.
Well,
Yes, and I mean, it's not like we stopped making games, all of us.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, just taking it easy for a while and work on yourself and take care of yourself. It's very important to do that sometimes in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That was a poorly. You like the fact you went. Yeah, you take care of yourself. And Stacey goes, "Oh,
I-
like you've never heard that before."
I'm intrigued.
What is this self-care nonsense? I've never heard of this.
You have to. When it sounds like a weird thing to say when you say entitled gamers, but when I say that, I'm talking about people who, like, when something gets released, they demand that it meets their personal expectations. You're like, well, no, they're trying to reach a wider audience,
Yep.
and you know, and having being able to sit down with you. Well, we're all sat down. It's fine,
What
and
do you
having
mean?
a conversation.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, and it kind of and giving everybody the opportunity to see that the devs that they're speaking to and sometimes talking smack to are human, and there are there are people behind it, and they have feelings, and being dicks to the devs and everything else is just, you're talking to a human.
That's
You know,
exactly
there's no
it,
need.
you know?
Don't be a dick to the devs. If you enjoy their game, tell them you enjoy their game. Don't tell them a 500-word essay of why you think their game sucks, because that doesn't achieve anything. It just hurts people's feelings and makes them feel bad about themselves. When you should be uplifting these people who make your fucking games and praising them for giving you something to do when you're all stuck at home because we can't leave the house.
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, games cost a lot of money, and there's
Hey, Dark, don't die.
God bless you.
Oh shoot! I muted it on my stream. And I pushed the wrong mute button, didn't I? Oh,
Yeah.
God, sorry, guy. I do
Are you gonna
apologize.
get tested?
Oh, sorry.
Just a touch of the corona, don't mind.
No, I took a massive chug of water and started. I was like, I tried to hold the choking back. And so I pushed the mute button, and I forgot that I have to mute both sides. God damn. This is why I wanted you guys to be here when Stacey played the game, because obviously from you guys, you'll never. I mean, did you ever get a chance to see the end user experience before?
Yeah, I mean, when we released the game, we saw people were streaming the game.
Yeah.
On release day.
It was so nice, you know, working away on this game, like all of the hardships and everything, and then we were on the release day. We were just sitting there in our office watching streams.
Okay, I'm done.
Together, eating
It was
pizza.
wonderful.
It was nice. It was the
wonderful.
best day I had for a very long time.
Now,
Yeah,
this
it
is something I've always wanted to ask a game dev. How important to you guys, just, you know, is Twitch, YouTube, I would say Mixer, but that's not going to be a thing for much longer. Streaming platforms, there we go, we'll use that word, and like YouTube videos and Facebook videos and stuff like that. It's like effectively free marketing. I did the quotation mark things again. God, no one can see you.
I say that it's the bread and butter of marketing nowadays.
Yeah.
The digital
Really?
marketing. Yeah, it's very, very important. We're still learning this stuff. It's not, we haven't mastered it in any way possible yet. We're hoping to become better at digital marketing. But I just noticed that the more you engage with the community, the more you engage with influencers, as we call them, I mean, you guys and etc., the bigger community, the community grows bigger and bigger, and the awareness of the game is always tends to start like that. I mean, especially if you're a newcomer, like a new company, a new studio, trying to get through the noise of the internet, and it's not that you don't really have the budget of putting yourself into this big, you know, making being in YouTube trailers or whatever. It's not gonna happen. You need to put in the hard work from start, and the hard work is basically engage with the community, try to be like. I mean, try to be kind. Try to just, you know, let the consumers know that you appreciate that they're actually putting time and effort into saying something, talking with you, talking about the game, etc. Because that actually means a lot to us, and we're having a blast here, guys. It's very fun just seeing you, Tracy. Stacey playing the game. Sorry, I also have troubles with names. We're all having issues with names today.
See, that's
Problem is I think like me, Leo, and Kevin sat here just like, oh god, it's hot. And Stacey's just sat there going, heat? What the hell? Minnesota is like so close to Cat. He gets heat every time. Stacey gets summer. It's like 2 weeks long.
I was about to say, sir, it's like, I'll say in Celsius for everybody else to know. It's like, we're right around 32 Celsius right now. It's hotter than a shit right now.
How are you not melting?
I just get used to it.
So we're on the same, almost the same kind of temperature.
Oof.
Yeah, because I mean, if you hadn't guessed already, I'm in the UK, so.
You are?
So, yeah.
This entire time I thought it was
Canadian or something.
Yeah. This entire time I thought it was Mexico. Damn it.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason I mean, with obviously,
Yeah.
with like you said, with the newcomer, kind of, it's one of those things where when you reach out to certain streamers and you go, like, I've got, this is when you kind of need, what do you call? What's the word I'm looking for? The community, the individual community managers who work with YouTubers and influencers and streamers and everything else to try and get them, because, like Ziploc said, that the more people are streaming your game, that's more people that are going to pick up, pay for it, and play it and enjoy it. I mean, it's kind of evident by the fact that we sat here and one of Stacey's viewers and a friend of ours bought the game, played it, and broke it within half an hour.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for that. I mean but that happens with like it's interesting how much it costs to create a game like this, this platformer. If we were like, you say that usually you're not like 5 people, all right? You're at least 20 people working on a 3D platformer like
Oh
this.
crap! Nope. Okay, we're good.
20 people would cost $120,000 per month.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's the budget you need to have. Like, if you're creating a game and it takes like 2 or 3 years to create the kind of game, you can do the math. Like 120,000 a month times 12 times like 3, it's a lot of money. So
And
that is
Kevin is only. I think you're only counting salaries, right?
yeah, I'm only counting
Not
salaries now.
office, not any marketing. Like
Yeah, the marketing
any,
budget could be a couple of
anything,
100,000 as well.
not even a release party.
is it literally just basically all the Kevin's is just people sat in a very dark room by themselves and doing nothing but sitting there and sleeping under their desk, eating chocolate-covered coffee beans?
Ooh,
Yeah,
that sounds good.
and like
Okay.
getting salaries that are not too high, not too low, is just enough so that you can pay for the rent and eat food,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
That
But
was
you don't want the salary.
Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
Because you don't want the salaries to be too low to trace away talent, but you don't want them to be too high so you can't spend the money elsewhere, I suppose. Which is the thing. I mean, just like everything else in life, things cost money, and
Yeah.
that's an unfortunate side effect of living in the oh my god.
Living in the real world, there, Dark Holson.
Living
That-
in the
that's the
real
word,
world.
You haven't
So-
called me Dark Holston in years. That was weird.
But I'm talking Swedish salaries now, by the
Yeah.
way. I mean, we have, I don't know, I think we have kind of high living standards as well. It's kind of expensive to live in Stockholm, but it should be expensive to live in other cities as well. So I'm not, like,
really paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the downsides because you're sitting there, and like I said earlier, you want to put everything you physically can into a game, and someone comes up to you and goes, "Here's the amount of money you've got." You don't go over it like, "Ah, crap."
yeah.
You just sit there and you kind of sit there going, well, that can't happen, that can't happen, that can't happen. And I suppose, like you said, you kind of cut more of the game than you actually put in, I suppose. Like you said, you kind of...
Oh, no! Shit.
See, even Stacey's angry that you had to cut a lot of the stuff out of the game.
Yeah, damn it.
Yeah.
This is not one of the easiest part of the game. I'm just saying.
Okay, hold on. Let's restart there, Stacy. Oh, no.
Oh,
No!
Leo,
Bad! No!
burning. Leo,
This
like,
is
this
not
is one of the
the
easiest
easiest.
part of the game.
No.
Yeah.
I said this is not one of the easiest.
Aha, that's what you said. I heard.
Oh,
that.
okay.
No,
I was like, whoa, Leo's going for the jugular.
Like, come on, pleb. This is the easiest part. Just. Oh, jeez. Oh, wait, where am I? Okay, here I am.
I mean, this is something I actually want to know. Who? I mean, when you sat down and like I said earlier, why is Skylar the cat? I mean, when you sat down and
Yeah.
how many designs did you go through for Skylar and Plux, and how did you come to like the initial idea of the main characters being what they are now? I suppose. I'm
It would be
hoping
interesting to hear what Leo has to say about this.
because everything else when I've asked these questions before, you've had a really funny and interesting story, like with the game, with the company name and the professor and everything. So I'd like to.
Yeah. Do you want me to explain my view of what I think was
Well, I tell you what. One of you give us theirs, and then we'll get like what like Kevin can tell us his, and then Leo can tell us his, and then we'll go from there, shall we?
No!
Crap.
I'm just gonna go. Yeah, I'm just gonna let Kevin. Yeah, you
Hash
do what
that
you
out.
do, you man.
No, shit, Stacy, you idiot!
Oh my god.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so the initial idea was to have a robot as a protagonist in the game. Genderless robot, but the publisher was afraid that you wouldn't be as connected with the character. They wanted to have like an animal character that would be better, like it would be easier to sell, they said. So we were like, okay. So they suggested that I usually joke around and like say that the main reason was to make it more like Ratchet and Clank. No, but I'm sorry, I'm just having fun. Make more Ratchet and Clank, please. Can we do cat? Huh? Can we do cat and maybe bird?
Jesus
and so
Christ.
they
No,
they
no,
threw out,
no,
like-
no! Bad
Actually-
rocket launcher thingy. No!
I think the name
Shut up, Dark!
that I think they suggested names too, right? I think that they had like they came with ideas for names like, how about Flatshit and Snatch or Fleetshit and Snitch or
I think now
Skylar
I
and
think you're
Flash.
just making stuff up. I don't know. I
vividly remember like
No,
the Slack channel, like they were just writing like it was like they were just generating these strange names. They were like,
Oh, I'm so glad you didn't name one of the characters Snatch, because this game would have a completely different meaning to it.
Oh,
two
God.
characters, and they need to be named something. Like the first one has to have 2 syllables, and the second character has to have 1 syllable.
God, man, they couldn't
Otherwise,
just
it
get
won't
away
sell.
from that, could they? Holy
Wait,
Christ!
so hold on a second. They actually turned around and said to you the character's name had to follow a 2 and 1 syllable rule.
No, just kidding.
Oh, okay.
I'm just you know,
just
Spicing
it a
up the
bit.
story.
Oh,
Spicing
got
up
I
ya.
mean,
the
this is for
story a bit.
entertainment value.
Yes.
So-
yes, and also the
Got
accent.
ya.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anyone, but
Sunny smile out.
No, you're
Oh,
good.
I
I
think
was just thinking, man, that's
honest-
funny.
Think- I mean, think of Kevin as a comedian that's telling, you know, comedians never tell what happened in real life. They just tell a funnier version of it, right?
I've
So
got you. I
that's-
wouldn't worry about
okay,
it.
so
Trust me, everybody in Stacey's community will be sitting there now, and I wouldn't be surprised if either some of them have choked because they've laughed so hard or they doubled over laughing. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much.
so
Oh.
Leo, what's your story? What's
Oh, what did I miss? Oh, crap.
version of what happened?
I don't know how to top that.
Please, call the game something like Ratchet and Snatch, please. We need to have 2
Flatshit, oh.
syllables for the main character
It's
and
flat
1
shit,
syllable
it's-
for the
I'm sorry.
bird.
Flatshit and Snatch got me because I'm just sitting there thinking Flatshit and Snatch. That be like that sounds like a Leisure Suit Larry knockoff.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think actually, I mean, I thought it was kind of a. I mean, all of the game. It's not only Ratchet and Clank that has that kind of name. You know, you have Banjo Kazooie, you have Jack and Daxter,
Yeah.
and Yooka-Laylee is a similar kind of thing. You know.
Yeah.
So I thought that was, I like from my perspective, I thought that was kind of a good idea to just, you see the name and you instantly know what it's about, right? It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, what kind of game is this? Like, it just sounds like a body platformer, right?
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
this game is
Yeah, I mean,
fantastic.
definitely with Skylar and Plux, you could definitely tell exactly what just from the title, because yeah, Skylar plugs his Adventures on Clover Island. You're like, oh, okay. So you know who the characters are, you know where it's going to be set, and so that's quite impressive for a title, just to get everything straight off the bat.
Yeah, and you know what kind of genre it is as well.
Yeah.
Just from
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, you know it's going to be one of those like buddy style games because obviously there's two main characters, and you can tell by the characters on the front when you look at the like the thumbnails and images and stuff. You can tell it's going to be family friendly because there's a talking cat, there's a bird wearing goggles, and you're like, yeah, it's going to be family friendly. So basically, it's just the I know Ziplock's just throwing in, yeah.
Ziplocs being Ziploc.
Yeah, he's throwing in
No,
potential
no,
game
no,
names.
shh, no, crap.
But yeah, it's relatively it's kind of impressive when you tell that story, and then poor old Leo's like, I don't know how to top that. I don't know.
It's just that I remember that we initially had we planned to make a robot character that looked a bit like Mega Man or something.
Yeah.
And then upon discussing it with after discussing it with the publisher, we just understood that they would like for us to make more interesting characters, or have two characters also. I think it was like, or how did that come to play? Like, how did Plux basically, when did we create Plux, and why did we do that? I don't really remember. I just remember that we were talking with the publisher about
I mean, we wanted to have a silent protagonist, right? But we still wanted to have story in the game. So I think that was like the main reason to have Plux in
that's
there.
true. Yeah, we created the talking bird in order to that's true.
Yeah, so basically Plux came about as Skylar's voice, effectively.
Yeah, but I think it was.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it was. I think we created the
Sorry,
bird.
I just love I don't fucking remember. Maybe.
I remember. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
I mean, the game was released 3 years ago, and then the decisions, all of these decisions were taken in a haze 4 years ago. You know.
Oh crap! Oh no!
I think the bird was created before Skylar was created. I think we created the bird together with the robot, and then we changed the robot. And I'm pretty sure it was mainly because the publisher was afraid that we would take it was too huge of a risk to have a robot protagonist. We should have an animal. It's much more relatable, or like more cute, etc.
I am
So
fucking confused by that statement. I'm speaking out of turn. I do apologize, man, but I just don't. How I hate bringing up the example again, but do they not play Mega Man? Have they never heard of Mega Man? This Mega Man X is like one of the most beloved characters of all time. Mega Man, you know?
But even Mega Man is kind of half robot, he's a robot, but he looks like a person. He looks like a human.
Good point. Very good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
And then when you look at back through like single player protagonists, you've got Sonic and Tails, animals. Then you've got Mario and Luigi, humans. And stuff like that. So I can see from that they're not wanting to risk a robot because it doesn't follow the previous trends of games that have been successful. I mean, I suppose that's what they were going for. I mean, I don't know whether. I mean, if you guys are okay to go for another hour, we could all take a break quickly because I would like to probe you a bit about the remake and everything else.
know,
that you've
Dark.
got after you teased it.
Dark.
What?
Sir, probe them. I don't believe we're aliens, are we?
Well, I question you sometimes.
How much time you guys got? Just to know.
I got 2 more hours on my normal stream time. Like I stream for relatively, I normally do 8 hours per day. But I can go a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. Realistically, I'm on your fucking time right now. I'm having a blast. Our conversation's amazing. This is going great. I'll go as long as you'll let me. Let me put it that way. How about that?
Oh, I nearly made an inappropriate joke then. I'm like, no.
I hate you,
nope. But I mean, we can. I mean, obviously, because I don't want it. Because obviously, you guys are. I mean, it's coming up to 9 o'clock my time, and obviously 10 o'clock your time. So
Yeah.
I don't want to keep you guys
Oh,
awake
Jesus.
too.
Yeah, if you guys want to go to sleep, let us know. That's fine. We won't be mad at all, okay?
What do you say, Leo?
I
how
think
much time you
think
got?
this is fun.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Perfect,
We
man.
should just go on how much. I mean, we'll see. We will take it. We go with the flow.
Sounds great. Well,
Basically.
in that case, I'll be right back. Dark.
Would be fun to see you finish the game.
I was
Oh
about,
no, now we're maybe not the whole night. We'll see what happens.
well, I was about to
Yeah,
say
we-
because I'm not gonna 100% it today. Well, I could, but I'm not. I'm gonna force myself not to 100% it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Apologies for that burp. But yeah, no. I'm gonna. Cause I looked on like, well, you know, there's a website like howlongtobeatit.com or something of that name sort.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder how long this is gonna take me. Cause Dark's like, hey, don't play this till I come on stream. I'm like, why? I want to get some experience with this. So you talk, like, just trust me. I look it up. Like, that's why he told me not to. Okay,
Well,
that
that-
makes way more sense.
With that, I kind of wanted you to see. I wanted them to see your original reactions to when you fail miserably for the first 100 times.
We'll be right back, folks. Please stick around when we get back from break. More of this amazing conversation. Love you guys. See you in a few.